Hello, welcome to another biotechnology citizen science presentation. Yes, that is the name that I am going with. Name subject to change. This video will show a tutorial on how to use ChatGPT to prototype applications while barely needing to code. I hope you enjoy this presentation. Introduction. My hypothesis is that a citizen science project has the potential to change women's health worldwide. I also believe that a prototype or minimum viable product could be produced with the assistance of ChatGPT without needed much coding. There are two main problems that this research project addresses. The first is that there is a lack of research dedicated to women's health research in terms of both physical and mental health. This lack of knowledge limits the ability of doctors to treat women's health problems specifically. The second problem is that women may feel uncomfortable telling their personal details to a provider, preventing the professional to accurately address their health problems. The solution I propose is a citizen science project that allows women to take control of their own health. The media to accomplish this would be an application that works like the popular dating platform Tinder. It would allow women to quickly participate in research that can be used for a variety of purposes. They would do this by swiping right or left on questions. The answers to these questions will be collected into a database that can be used for research purposes. This app would be programmed with possible lifestyle changes to improve the woman's condition. The data collected from this application could be used in different machine learning algorithms that can be used to make predictions on health conditions. So, I forgot to mention, there was another problem that needed to be addressed. The person with this idea in their head sucks at coding. This would prevent an idea like this from ever coming into reality. This is the part of the video where I become a shill for OpenAI. Their wonderful tool ChatGPT is a wonderful tool when it comes to learning and developing software products with a limited amount of knowledge. If you can believe it, someone like me, who can barely remember how to import Excel files, was able to develop a minimum viable product of the idea described quickly through its assistance. Without further delay, let's begin that ChatGPT tutorial. I would like this project to show how fast ChatGPT can assist with coding projects. To do this, I recorded my start time at roughly 5:30 p.m. and I finished with the coding of the project at roughly 9:15 p.m. The first thing I had to do was come up with the idea, which I will admit was not with the assistance of ChatGPT. It was the product of dating an OB/GYN and begin better exposed to the problems faced by the everyday woman. At first, I was going to develop a product that would assist women with maternal health. However, I came up with an idea that I felt like had more scope, which I have described previously. I do have some knowledge of coding, and at this point I would consider myself decent at prompt engineering for data science coding projects. Check out my other videos if you are interested in seeing the results of those projects. The consistent problem that I found was that there was a lack of publicly available data that was open source. I have experimented with ways to generate synthetic data, however that data was mostly randomized. This is a topic for another time. I had heard of citizen science projects in the past that used the public to help collect and sort data. This inspired this project's architecture. So, with my limited understanding of coding and prompt engineering, I entered the following prompt into ChatGPT. Please note that I accidentally used the version 3.5 of ChatGPT.
Hello, I am trying to develop a project that will allow any woman with a cell phone to participate in feminine health research to lead to the eventual training of a neural network that will be able to assist them with maintaining their own health. The AI will be embedded into an app that will work like Tinder, where women can easily participate in health surveys by answering yes or no questions. They will be able to set the level of intimacy on questions they will be asked throughout the survey depending on their level of comfort. We will protect the information submitted by users through blockchain technology. We will somehow figure out a way to limit the usage of the app to one account per person. We will have women enter their demographic information at the start of using the app. This information will ideally be unchanging about the individual. Extra data will also be generated by having women be asked to regularly update the app with information like their relationship status, weight, and pregnancy status. We will filter out people who are not taking the survey seriously by detecting the amount of time they spend on reading, looking at specific questions. Before releasing the app to the public, we will perform our own study to generate an initial dataset to train a neural network on. The app will release in phases, with the first phase being used to collect data from women through crowdsourcing. In this phase, women will be able to answer questions, and if they want, they will provide it a soft interpretation of their health. This first phase's interpretation will be able to be reviewed by the woman using the app. If the woman does not find the information to be accurate, this will update the parameters of the neural network. In the second phase of the app, women will be able to answer questions in the same manner and have the AI give them a more solid interpretation of their health. In the second phase, all women using the app will be able to rate the performance of the AI's recommendations. Hopefully, if popular, this system will constantly produce feminine health data that can be used to not only continue training this AI, but also be used in other feminine health research. I am trying to help me build a prototype of this idea in Python. It will simulate a phone application that has a UI that looks like Tinder. The user will be able to select yes or no on various feminine health questions. Each yes or no answer will be saved into a dataset. Can you help me with this prototype?
This prompt was able to give me a starting point to work off. You can see the first working version of the script on the project GitHub. Once I had some satisfactory base code, I moved on to creating a tinder window. The prompt was as follows.
Okay, I would like to create a window that will show the questions along with the yes or no option. There will also be a button that says Next. I would like to store these answers and add them to a dataset.
You can see the first window produced by the script updated to produce a tinder window. There was also a window that would pop up when the survey was completed. ChatGPT recommended me some additional features to add to the tinder window. I asked ChatGPT to include the recommendations with the following prompt.
Please add the buttons that you recommended. Also, please number each question and save the answers to a dataset according to the number.
The window was then updated with the new buttons. The window kept on crashing when the survey was completed. To correct this, I created the prompt.
Could you please make it so the window doesn't crash when I am done answering questions?
This was successful in updating the code so that it would no longer crash after all of the survey questions had been answered. For some reason, new versions of the code generated forgot to include this. I then needed to change the CSV layout, as it was not printing out properly. I entered the following prompt.
Thank you. Now I need you to change the layout of the CSV. Could you please make so each question is in a different column of the CSV? I would also like it so the user must first enter their name before continuing to the question.
This was successful in fixing the CSV layout. Next, I needed to make sure that the script would not override existing data. I also needed to clarify questions about the code that I did not understand. I entered the following script to get an updated code and the information that I asked for.
Does the code also save the username in the same row as the answers? If it does not, could you please add a column to the dataset named users? Also, could you please make it so that if there is an existing CSV file named response, it will update that CSV file instead of creating a new file?
Now the CSV file would not be overwritten, but instead updated with the new user's information. For some reason, the updated version of the code that is given back to me seemed to have some errors when it came to entering the username. The username would not disappear after being initially entered. I asked ChatGPT to fix this.
You seem to be confused. Now the buttons the user can use to answer questions does not appear after entering the username. To fix this, please add a button to the first page where it asks the user the name, then have a button that says Begin that takes the user through the question.
This prompt generated a version of code without errors. I then wanted to ask the user some demographic questions before they began answering the survey. I did this by asking ChatGPT to create extra entry boxes for this information.
You're doing great. Please add total health questions to the survey. Also, could you please make it so that the user is prompted to enter their age, weight, height, and other questions that would have numerical variables at the same time as they are asked to enter their name?
This once again produced a version of the script that had entry spots for the name, but the CSV file produced did not have column headings anymore. I needed to write quick prompt to fix this.
Please make sure that you have column headings for the CSV.
Since I am not a woman and do not intimately deal with their health problems, I had to have Chat produce some questions for me. It was easily able to do this, although I am not sure how informative the information would be to predicting any health conditions. I got the questions from answering the following script.
Could you please recommend me another 7 questions to add to the survey? Please make them relevant to the health of the person, either physical or mental.
With these new questions, I needed a way to make sure that the data was consistently shaped. In order to do this, I had to try a couple of ways to complete this. At the same time, I also wanted to add follow-up questions to the app. I asked Chat to create these questions and encode them with the following script.
Now I would like to make it so if the survey is not completed by the user, the other columns of the dataset will be filled with null in values that can easily be filtered out. I would also like to make it so there are relevant follow-up questions in the survey. For example, if the headaches have been experienced in the past week, please ask the user how often they have occurred in the past week. If they have been exercising regularly, ask how many times a week. If they do experience relevant physical activity, please ask them what type. Allow them to submit their answers with radio buttons that have the options you have as example.
I ran into some errors getting this to work, but eventually came up with this troubleshooting prompt. This took several tries with the prompt needing to be re-engineered a few times.
I do not want the answers to the follow-up questions to appear as text entries. I want them to appear as buttons after the user has entered the main questions. You do not need to create a new window. You can have the questions pop up in the same window at the end of the survey.
Finally, I was able to get a working version of the script that produced a window with the desired quality. It had some formatting errors, but I decided that the current version, which is available on Git, hub was viable to move forward with. With this in mind, I went to design the UI with the following prompt. This basically was used to make the window more appealing to the eye.
Now please help me format the UI design. Please make a homepage that has a next button. On the homepage is a title that says Woman, MVP. Have there be a button named Begin that starts the survey. Make the window the size of the average phone app.
This successfully changed the layout of the window. The last thing that I wanted to do was change the color to pink.
Now please help me change the default color of the window to pink. Please also make it so that the text wraps no matter what the size of the window is with padding.
This worked easily. Next, I wanted to format the entry boxes so that they did not run off the page. To do this, I used the following prompt.
Could you please make it so that the entries for name and age are on different lines of the window?
With this objective completed, we had a nicer looking version of the MVP. This project initially started with the intention of building a neural network, so I decided to quickly have ChatGPT design a neural network that could be used to predict depression from the given answers. Probably not the best idea like I said earlier. Here is the prompt for that.
Now please provide me with an artificial neural network that can be trained on the data produced by the script we have been working on. I am trying to predict the level of depression.
I then wanted to have an outline for a research project paper written with some specific information to include. I did this with the following prompt.
Okay, now please help me write a research paper that talks about this project. The title of this paper will be Developing a Woman's Health Minimum Viable Product with this assistance of ChatGPT. It will have a problem subsection in the introduction section that talks about the lack of research being done surrounding women's health. Talk about how women might have problems with their physical or mental health that they do not want to talk about due to embarrassment. Talk about how this problem might cause serious health conditions to go undiagnosed until it was too late. Also talk about how this will lead to a lack of data to use to solve women's health problem. Say in the solution subsection that the solution is a crowdsourced research platform that allows any woman with cell phone to participate in women's health research. In the objective, purpose section, talk about how the objective is a challenge to design an MVP without using any coding. The purpose is also to develop a women's health application that allows women to participate in anonymous data collection that can be used in a variety of studies. Have a methods section where you talk about using prompt engineering to get the proper code response from chat to achieve the objective.
This prompt produced a research outline that I will using in the Python Markdown file. The final prompt that I used in this project was to generate a business plan. It went as follows.
Please write me a business plan that talks about this product that is called the Women's Advantage Neural Network. Please talk about how the product will incentivize women to participate in the research project by offering rewards to certain retailers that partner with the project. The company will be a nonprofit organization that will sustain itself through grants and selling access to datasets for research purpose to institutions. Talk about how the data will be secured using blockchain technology. Talk about how the surveys will be anonymous and that the app will just keep track of individuals as a number. Talk about how there are no other apps like this on the market that are citizen science projects. Talk about how the marketing strategy is to use social media platforms such as TikTok to spread the mission of this business. Talk about how the board will consist of women working in the fields of health and computational sciences. Talk about how the purpose of the network for this company is to develop a neural network that will be able to interpret the woman's self-reported health and help her find helpful resources that can help her deal with her condition.
The prompt was successfully able to generate a throughout, yet flawed business plan that I can work off of. After all this prompt writing, I had a minimum viable product, a neural network that needs some tuning, a research paper outline to show off my work, and a business plan that can be used to carry this project to a further point. Additional features to add to the application include the ability to tailor the intimacy of the questions asked by the application, the ability to change the setting depending on what stage of life you are currently in, machine learning algorithms that will interpret the symptoms and life conditions of the user and recommend lifestyle changes and possible causes for the way that they feel. Women will be able to participate in the development of this application through rating the quality of the recommendations produced by the machine learning algorithms. This feedback will be used to continually improve the product. This app will employ blockchain technology to help keep the information submitted by the user. Special shout out to an entrepreneur friend who works in health tech that gave me the blockchain idea. The app will also connect women with others going through the same problems. Conclusion. In the end, I was able to build a data collecting minimum viable product that collects user information on female participant. This application has a variety of different questions, along with follow-up questions to get more accurate information about the person. Right now, the minimum viable product is a slightly flawed graphical user interface. I was able to design a neural network that can work off the data collected by the application to predict depression levels from the survey answers. To be fair, probably not the best idea to have an application that would tell you if you were depressed or not. Due to the lack of time, I was unable to make a dataset that would be able to be used for neural network testing. I am also not a woman, so it would not have made sense for me to test a product on myself. To ensure our ethical integrity, a potential company formed around this minimum viable product would need not sell any data to companies that are solely making a profit and benefiting off the private details of a woman's life. To ensure this, I would recommend that the business formed around this product to be a non-profit organization with a board of directors composed of women with a proven track record of high ethical standards. If you are watching this, by the time this video is posted, there should be a draft business plan along with a quickly made research project available on GitHub for viewing. If you would like to run with the idea, feel free to take it and develop it further. Thanks for watching. If you like the comment, please comment, like, and subscribe.